Hi, I'm Michael McPherson. Welcome back to the MHM Social. On this week's episode, I chat to boxer Brian Rose. How's it going?
Yeah, good, mate. Good.
Good stuff, good stuff. Listen, we'll start by talking a little bit about the fight on the weekend. Garcia Campbell, what did you make of it?
I think Campbell started really good. The knockdown was heavy. I thought Campbell was going to be too much for Garcia initially. I thought he'd have too much experience, too much amateur pedigree. But yeah, like I say, he started good. Heavy knockdown. Garcia did well, recovering so quickly. And I think he made Campbell in the end look a little bit old. The way Garcia was throwing his shots and, going up in the gears the way he did, like throwing threes and fours, so quick. Whereas Campbell couldn't compete with that in the end. I just feel like Campbell looked like an old man eventually. It just goes to show that, when you're in with someone so young and so hungry, it makes such a difference.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the funny thing is with Garcia is everyone knows him because of like the Instagram fame and how well he markets himself. And I just wasn't sure, probably like many others, if if the brand was better than the boxer Garcia. And he come in there, and the second he got in the ring, I thought he looked a bit too big and too strong. And even though he got knocked down, there wasn't no real. He never really looked. He was a little bit stunned at first, and I thought Campbell might jump on top of him there, but he never really looked worried. He got up, and I thought there's something not right here. He doesn't look like he's going to just roll over here. He looks a bit like.
No.
So what?
I was shocked because, like I say, it was a heavy left hand and a heavy knockdown. Like his arm went behind his back. He looked heavy, but he got up and and it just goes to show how fit he was and how ready he was. Because, like you say, the internet fame and I didn't think he would be as good as he was. He's not really fought anyone. Campbell's been in with Alvarez, went the distance, and it was a good fight. Whereas Garcia's not had that. He's not had them tests like Campbell has. So he's proved he is the elite fighter that everyone thought he wasn't.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I feel for Campbell because I think he's a really good fighter, and the division's just so strong now. You don't really know where he can go. And I think he's went out there. He's knocked a bloke down. He's tested him like everyone said he would. But you just look at that division now, how strong it is, and I think what's next for him really. I think it probably is retirement or one last, kind of hurrah, really.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you're right, and he's made a hell of a lot of money, so it's going to be very hard for him to get hungry for these fights again. He's achieved. He's definitely achieved. He's earned a lot of money. So where does he go? You're right, and the division he's in, he's incredible. So, he looked massive for the weight as well, didn't he? He looked so big at the scales, but he just didn't make a difference, did it?
I thought that within the weigh-in, when you in the build-up to the fight, I thought Campbell looked a lot stronger, and I thought he looked in great shape. But when they got in the ring, Garcia appeared a lot bigger in the ring than he does outside of the ring. I know that probably doesn't make sense, but he just seemed to.
It does. In there. But it does. When I fought Demetrius Andrade, at the scales, he looked thin, and he looked like he had struggled for the weight. It took him hours to get the weight off, which I didn't agree with, because over here you only get half an hour to get that weight off. I think we should have weighed in at 1, and we didn't weigh until like 4 o'clock because he couldn't get the weight off. He was mad. You wouldn't get away with that here.
On the treadmill.
So when we got on the scales, he was so thin around the way. I remember touching his waist going, look out, you've struggled, haven't you? You've struggled. And when he got in the ring, it was like his older brother got in. I was like, Jesus Christ, he's massive. He had his back to me, and I thought he was going to turn around. It wouldn't be him. He was massive. And then, and obviously that told on the night. He was just so big.
Yeah, definitely.
That's so good.
Talking about big title fights, then, what do you reckon's next for Garcia? How far can he go? Has he proved to everyone that he is the real deal, or has he still left a few questions to be asked?
I think he's still. Listen, he's in a hard division, and I think there's still fighters out there that will beat him. Like Tank, I think he's the best one in that weight. So for me, he has still got questions to answer, but he has shown that he can mix it with the best, which is all he needed to prove that night. So fair play to him. He'll get the massive fights now, won't he?
Yeah, definitely. I look forward to them as well. That division's superb. And on that note, I was going to ask you, what are the fights? We've got some great fights to look forward to in 2021. What are the fights you're looking forward to? What's the one you want to see most out there?
We've got to go Tyson Fury Joshua. I think that's the fight everyone wants. We've wanted it for ages, but politics and money stop them fights. I just hope this year we get that. It'd be an amazing fight, but for me, I think Tyson Fury wins that fight all day. I think his awkwardness, his speed. I think he's all wrong for Joshua, in my opinion. But if anyone is going to beat Tyson Fury, it is Joshua. So, but yeah, Tyson Fury wins that fight for me.
Yeah, I think everyone's going to say that fight now. And going back to the fight we just talked about, I think the one good thing from that, if that's a benchmark for the fights of this year going forward, that was a really good matchup. And often we don't get to see the fights that we should see or want to see. And I think Campbell and Garcia met each other at a good time there to be the right test for one another. And I think Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua will happen this year. I think we're going to see some good fights.
Yeah.
What we want from boxing. But like yourself, I can only see one winner there, and I like Anthony Joshua, and I think he's maybe underrated. Maybe people don't give him as much credit as he deserves. But I heard Mike Tyson saying that he telegraphs his punches a bit, and it's easy for me to say as someone who's not ridiculously.
Oh, listen, I've seen you on the bag. You're quite good.
Don't talk about that, mate. When I went there coaching, I was nearly physically sick after about 3 minutes. It's good fun though. I'd have to do it again.
Yeah, but you're right. You are right about Joshua. He's underrated, but Tyson Fury's a different. He's just a different sort of fighter. And like I say, with the feints that he throws, his jerkiness, and it's all wrong for Joshua because Joshua's very upright. He's very textbook, and that will not work for fighting someone like Tyson Fury.
Yeah, I'd have to say that. I just don't see a way which Joshua wins, which it's a great fight. I want to see it, and I'm not trying to knock Joshua at all, be disrespectful, because I know the genuine opinion out there now is people are loving Tyson Fury. He's going to win. He'll knock him out. He'll do this. I think Joshua will test him to the best of his ability, but I don't see a way in which he wins personally.
Of course. And listen, let's have it right. You're only one punch of being knocked out anyway, but at heavyweight, it's totally different. Joshua hits Tyson Fury on the chin. I know he got up from Deontay Wilder, but Joshua hits anyone on the chin, you're going fast asleep.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
The other one I was going to ask you about, because obviously that would be if you ask me what fight I want to see in 2021, it's got to be Joshua Fury. I think most people would say the same. But the one I would like to see and get rearranged is Canelo Saunders, because I just see that. And we don't know how good. Well, we know how good Saunders is, but we don't know. Is he good enough to test Canelo? What's your thoughts on that one?
Honestly, you're right there. You bang on. Honestly, I always said that the only person that could beat Canelo at the moment is Saunders because of his sheer, again, speed, his footwork, his awkwardness. Someone like Billy Joe Saunders can beat Canelo, but it all depends which Billy Joe Saunders turns up. I think he's got a little bit complacent. I mean, I might be wrong, but he's got a little bit complacent in training because of the people he's been fighting, But I honestly think he'll step up when he needs to. So if he got a fight like Canelo, I think he knows he'd have to get a rocket up his arse and get himself into gear. So yeah, I think Billy. I'm not saying he'll win, but I'm saying he's got a massive chance of beating someone like Canelo.
Yeah, I'd agree. I just think he'll test him. I think he's a bit comparable to Tyson Fury in the sense that he doesn't, he's got that awkwardness about him and that kind of like winning determination mentality where he could just go in and you feel he could beat anyone. And I think he will be the one that tests Canelo, whether he beats him or not. Like you say, I think the way Canelo's going, he could be heavyweight champion next year. We could be talking about Canelo Fury.
It's unbelievable how I don't know how they do it. Them Americans step up in weight. I think I do know how they do it, but
we'll go into that, man.
Yeah, but because I've been a light middleweight, and then when I went up to middleweight, I was too small. So I just don't understand how they go up the weights they do. But that's a different story.
He's unexplainable. Well, maybe like you say, maybe we won't.
We'll say that for another day.
And what about we've heard today that boxing's now off for January. I can get the decision with what's going on, but what would you say to young fighters out there who've been preparing all over Christmas, sacrificed their Christmas, New Year, got a big fight on this month, and now it's off, and everything that's going on? How would you stay focused, and what advice would you give to them?
You know what? I'm not in that position anymore. I am going to give it another go, but I don't have to give it another go. So I've done all that what them young kids do, and that's waiting for a fight. But you get the fights, so I feel really sorry for boxers like that at the moment, that are training so hard. They've got to keep themselves ready for anything that comes up. Small hall shows are never going to work because there's no crowds. So the only fights you're going to get is the ones against a prospect or the ones against someone that's really good. So these kids are going to have to take fights that sometimes they can't win just to get a fight. So I feel for them. And they do really well staying in the gym, staying fit. But they also have to earn money. So they're not earning any money. Yeah. So they're going to have to get jobs and things like that. I really feel for them because it's hard to stay fit and stay in the gym when you've got to work. So eventually you're going to think, I can't keep up with the training because I need to earn money for my family or earn money for myself. So, I mean, my advice is just, try and keep focused and keep your head down and hopefully a date will come. But it's very hard to give that advice because they've also got to earn money.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I think when people think boxing, you think of the superstars of the sport who, having a year out of the ring doesn't really affect. But then you've got your kind of not average. Average is the wrong word. But, you've got your pros out there who are great fighters, supremely talented, but maybe not on that box office level. And they need to fight to feed their family. And at the moment, there's huge uncertainty around it. So, I do feel for them, and hopefully we're not too far away from them guys being back out and working.
Yeah, it's a shame. And these elite level fighters, the ones that are really good, seem to be getting out more, seem to be getting the opportunity. It's the ones that are just in between or the real prospects, the young lads, that they're not going to get a fight. But it's just the life we live at the moment. And hopefully by April, May, I'm hoping myself, that'll change.
Well, that was going to be my next question to you. I see the other day on your socials that you posted something about signing up with a new promoter, but I know it's not as straightforward as just fighting. You're looking to maybe coach and train a few fighters, promote some shows. I mean, what would you actually like to do next? Is it still fighting that, do you still have that desire for fighting, or is it moving into something else in boxing?
Yeah, I mean, if I'm honest, I'll see the desire and what I've got left over the next 2 weeks. I know it sounds mad. I'm going to get myself in the gym, start dieting, start running every day. I'm going to commit myself again to boxing. So we'll see. In 2 weeks' time, I feel great, and I feel I can still do it. I'll do it. Yeah. I mean, Marcus Morrison keeps calling me out, and so that's a fight that I would have, and I'm pretty sure it's a fight I'm more than capable of winning because Anthony Fowler's it's a different kettle of fish. He's an Olympian. I wasn't even supposed to be fighting him. I got like 3 weeks notice for that fight, and I took it because I was fit. Someone like Marcus Morrison is nowhere near as good as Fowler. So me, taking opportunities isn't much of a risk for me because I'll win them fights. So yeah, I mean, Kieran Fowler's a small hall promoter. People are probably thinking, why is Bryce signing? But he's making a big noise at the moment. Kieran Fowler, he's signing some good fighters. He's probably the main matchmaker for Matchroom. So I mean, he's doing really well, and I want to get into managing myself. So I would probably co-promote a few shows that I'm going to fight on with him. Then it teaches me the ropes of managing, and then eventually, when I'm done with boxing, maybe I'll probably have another year boxing, retire, and then go into management because that's something that I want to do.
Yeah, and with your gym and all the tools you've got there, you've got great access to it. And I think you could move on from the fighting aspect and do really well in training and management, promoting. But maybe I'm biased because I'm your mate, but I'd like to see you fight again because when I watched you against Fowler and I was there that night. I thought you had a lot to offer there, and I feel like you actually, you almost we discussed this. You almost started a little bit, subtle and took a while to get into it. And when you kind of threw the dice in that fight, you look more than, more than capable of testing him, and you deserve to be there. So I'd like to see you back in there again, mate.
Yeah, definitely. Like you say, with the Fowler fight, I started really slow, and I'd not had a competitive fight in 2 years. The two people I fought were warm ups. So for me, going into that fight, I'd not had the fights that I needed going into a fight with someone like Anthony Fowler. But by the 6th, 7th round, I felt myself warming into it. I wasn't tired. You know, I've still got the energy and I've still got the stamina to do the rounds. I showed that. Apart from when he caught me in the last round, he hurt me a little bit with a right hand. But I mean, I was never on the floor, or never looked like I was going to go on the floor until that little right hand at the end. But so I still know I can make. Listen, I know I'm not the fighter I once was. That's for sure. But I still know there's fights out there that I can win, and someone like Marcus Morrison, or in fact, I mean, I'm training for a date at the end of April, early May, maybe in Blackpool. Sell the Winter Gardens out if we can, if the crowds are back. If not, if anything comes up off Matchroom with Eddie Hearn, one of his prospects, as long as I'm fit and I get a little bit of time, I'll take it, and that's what I'm going to do. So if an opportunity comes up, I'll take the fight, because that's what I'm like anyway. You know, I'll fight anyone. So even if it's a fight that I originally don't fancy, I know if in 6-7 weeks' time, I'll take the fight anyway. I literally will fight anyone and fancy it as well.
Even after seeing me when I come in that time, went on the Pasby, you still would have took that fight?
Probably not you. You're the only one that I probably wouldn't go near, because I sit, you know, the power and how big you are. But hopefully on a bad day when you've got that dodgy back.
That's every day, mate. That's every day. I'm going to ask you one last question, and you know, when it's possible, I'll come down to the gym and we'll chat again and stuff. But what I was going to ask you, pal, is I want to see you fight again, definitely. You know, but if this was it for your career, if it was all over now, what would be the best moment, the moment you look back on and go, I want to relive that one forever? That was a real high of my great career.
It was probably when I won the British title. I fought a lad called Prince Aaron, and everyone expected great things from him, and he was on the verge of doing that. And I was like 8-1 to win the fight. No one expected me to win, apart from the people around me that's seen how hard I worked and knew how good I was. And I got in there, and you know, it was probably my best performance, a different kind of performance. Like the performance I've had recently, like the proper scraps, you know, where I stand and have a fight, which isn't really me, to be honest. I don't know why I started doing that. I think it just as I got older, I don't know, started thinking I was hard or something. I don't know. Strange, because I'm technically a good boxer that moves the feet. I've got good defense. So maybe I need to go back to that. But yeah, Prince Aaron was probably, and when I won the British title, was a highlight of my career. But I have had other good nights, like the Maciel fight, finally eliminated for a world title, made me mandatory for a world title. Most people now get took as challengers for a world title. I was number 2 in the world, you know, so that for me was a massive achievement.
Yeah, definitely.
And then even fighting for a world title, I know I got absolutely demolished, but I'm proud of fighting for that world title. You know, I got a bit of stage fright on the night and didn't perform the way I should.
Yeah.
I mean, whether I could have won that fight is a different story, but you know, that for me was a proud moment. Walking out at Barclays Centre, just the whole occasion and the weigh-in, and having 100 Blackpool fans there singing Seasiders, you know, it was amazing. It was amazing. And so I've had a few good nights, but I would say winning the British title was the highlight of my career.
Seasiders in the Barclays Centre. Don't get better than that, mate.
That's it, mate. Yeah.
It's been great to talk to you, pal. Like I say, when it's possible, I'll come back in the gym and we'll have a proper chat and we'll do it again. But I really enjoyed that, mate.
Yeah, whenever you're ready, mate, that'll be good.
Yeah, top man. Cheers, bro.
See you later, pal.
See you soon, pal. Bye, mate. Bye.